Darts might seem like an easy ride, bright lights, roaring crowds, and a shot at glory. But beneath the glamour of televised tournaments lies a harsh reality. For many pros, the journey is riddled with setbacks, physical, mental, and financial. Today, we're diving into the lives of 8 darts players who proved that success in this sport often comes with a heavy price. From dartitis to devastating scandals, this is the side of darts you rarely see. Ted Hanky was a man who could silence a crowd with just a glare. Known as the Count, his Gothic-inspired persona and cool demeanor made him one of the most polarizing figures in darts. With his vampire-like cape and ice-cold precision, Hanky was a master of mind games and a ruthless competitor at the Osh.
Who's in charge? Me or the devil? I think I'm in charge. Double eight, shake his hand. Just like that. Come on, you.
His crowning achievements came in 2000 and 2009, when he claimed 2 BDO World Championship titles, solidifying his reputation as one of the sport's elite. But as dramatic as his entrances were, Hanky's life off the stage was far more turbulent. While his early career was defined by his ability to rise to the occasion under pressure, the cracks in his seemingly impenetrable facade began to show in the years that followed his second world title. The turning point came in 2012, during the Grand Slam of darts. Fans tuned in expecting to see Hanky in top form, but what they witnessed was alarming. His hands trembled uncontrollably as he struggled to release his darts. At first, viewers thought it might be nerves or an uncharacteristic lapse in concentration. The truth, however, was far more serious. Hanky had suffered a minor stroke. Though he made efforts to return to the sport, his once steely composure was shaken. The precision that had once defined his game began to waver, and his results on the board reflected it. For a player like Hanky, who relied so much on mental strength, the impact was devastating. As his performances declined, so did his earnings. By 2018, Hanky was declared bankrupt, a stark fall for someone who had once graced the pinnacle of darts. Financial struggles became an all-too common theme in his life, and the pressure began to mount. The once charismatic Hanky, who had thrived in the limelight, started to fade from the public eye, his reputation overshadowed by whispers of personal difficulties. But his story took an even darker turn in 2022.
The former world darts champion Ted Hanky has been jailed for 2 years for a sexual assault caught on camera. Jailing him, Judge Stephen Everett said Hanky would have, quote, denied it to the bitter end if the attack had not been caught on film.
Hanky was charged with sexually assaulting a young woman, an accusation that sent shockwaves through the darts community. The details were grim, and Hanky ultimately pled guilty. The court handed down a 2-year prison sentence, marking a dramatic and tragic fall from grace. For fans who had cheered or jeered him during his prime, this was not the ending they had anticipated for the man once known as the Count. Hanky's legacy is now a complex one. On the Osh, he was a 2-time world champion who brought theatre and tension to every match he played. Off the stage, his story serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder of how quickly a career can unravel when personal challenges and poor decisions collide. From his vampiric swagger to his public disgrace, Ted Hanky's journey is one of the most dramatic rises and falls the darts world has ever seen. Richie Burnett's rise in the world of darts felt like the stuff of legend. A fiery Welshman with unrelenting determination, Burnett quickly established himself as one of the most exciting players of the 1990s. His defining moment came in 1995 when he captured the BDO World Championship, defeating the legendary Raymond van Barneveld in a thrilling final.
Double eight, 2 darts, 4. Does he need them? Can he do it in 1 for the title? It's there! It's there! Look at him, Ray Barneveld! He's crying! That's what this title means for him. So much emotion. There's been tears shed, but Barneveld, the #1 seed, gave everything. He knows the importance of this.
The victory marked Burnett as a major force in the sport, and his passionate, aggressive style made him a fan favourite. But as Burnett's star rose, so did the pressures of maintaining his position at the top. The darts landscape was changing, with younger, sharper players entering the scene and pushing the boundaries of competition. Burnett began to struggle with consistency, and his confidence took a hit. A game built on precision and mental toughness became a minefield of self-doubt, and the victories that once came naturally started to elude him. Behind the scenes, Burnett's personal life was unraveling. Financial struggles compounded his problems, and he found himself battling issues that stretched far beyond the dartboard. The turning point came in 2014 when Burnett tested positive for cocaine during a routine drug test. The revelation sent shockwaves through the darts community. For fans, it was a devastating blow. A once great champion brought low by scandal. For Burnett, it was a moment of reckoning. The Professional Darts Corporation, PDC, handed down an 18-month suspension, effectively cutting Burnett off from the sport that had defined his life. The punishment was harsh but necessary, and it left Burnett to confront the consequences of his actions. With his career on hold, his reputation in tatters, and his finances strained, Burnett faced an uphill battle to rebuild his life. When his suspension ended, Burnett returned to the Osh, determined to prove he still had the talent and grit to compete. His comeback was met with mixed results, but his resilience won him respect from fans and peers alike. However, the shadow of his suspension continued to loom over his career, serving as a reminder of how quickly success can slip through your fingers. Richie Burnett's story is one of triumph and turmoil, a stark example of the highs and lows that come with life as a professional darts player. From the thrill of being crowned world champion to the devastation of scandal, Burnett's journey underscores the immense pressure that comes with chasing greatness and the heavy price of losing your way. Nathan Aspinall's journey to darts stardom is one of grit, determination, and relentless perseverance. Born and raised in Stockport, Aspinall started his career as a promising but largely unheralded player. Like many aspiring professionals, he faced the harsh financial realities of chasing a dream. At one point, he had just £20 to his name, teetering on the edge of quitting darts altogether. But Aspinall didn't give up. Instead, he pushed through, determined to make a name for himself in one of the toughest sports in the world. His breakthrough came in 2019 at the UK Open, where he shocked the darts world with a stunning run to claim his first major title. The victory wasn't just a career milestone, it was a lifeline. The prize money and recognition launched him into the upper echelons of the PDC, where he quickly established himself as one of the brightest stars on the circuit. Known as the Asp, his aggressive, fearless style won him fans and respect alike. With more success came more accolades. Aspinall reached the semi-finals of the PDC World Darts Championship twice and added further titles to his resume. His rapid rise seemed unstoppable. But as is often the case in darts, success came with its own set of challenges. In the midst of his ascent, Aspinall faced a demon that every darts player dreads: dartitis, a psychological condition that disrupts a player's ability to release a dart. Dartitis is as debilitating as it is mysterious. For Aspinall, it wasn't just a physical hurdle, it was a mental battle.
Yeah, it's been bad. I'm dealing with it. There's clearly been a flaw in my throw. As everyone can see, the world can see, there's been an issue in my throw. I'm dealing with it. I'm working with the right people to sort this.
His once fluid throw became hesitant, even painful, and his confidence on the Osh began to waver. The condition struck at the worst possible time, threatening to derail a career that had only just reached its peak. For a player who had built his reputation on resilience, this was a defining moment. Aspinall chose to fight back. He sought help, adapted his practice routines, and focused on rebuilding the mechanics of his throw. The road to recovery was anything but easy, but Aspinall's determination to overcome the condition kept him in the game. Nathan Aspinall's story is a testament to the highs and lows of professional darts. From the brink of financial ruin to the pinnacle of the sport, and then back to battling his own mind and body, Aspinall's journey is as inspiring as it is sobering. It's a reminder that even in a game defined by precision and control, chaos can strike at any moment. Yet for Aspinall, the fight continues, and his ability to bounce back proves that his story is far from over. When Andy Forom lifted the 2004 BDO World Championship trophy, it wasn't just a victory, it was a coronation. The Viking was finally at the peak of the darts world, a player whose calm precision under pressure had conquered the sport's brightest stage. But while the crowd celebrated, Forom carried a burden that no amount of cheering could drown out. Forom was battling his body long before he started losing to his opponents. Known for his camaraderie and love of a pint, Andy's lifestyle mirrored the darts culture of the time. Nights on the road were often filled with drinks, sometimes up to 25 bottles of beer in a single day. For years, he managed to keep this up without it affecting his game, or so it seemed. But beneath the surface, his health was deteriorating, and by the time the world saw him as a champion, the cracks had already begun to show. In 2007, those cracks became impossible to ignore. During a much anticipated match against Phil Taylor at the International Darts League, Forom collapsed, the sight of the sport's reigning hero struggling to stand shocked fans and players alike. Doctors later revealed the grim reality. Forom's liver was operating at just 25% capacity, and his body was under constant strain. If he didn't make drastic changes, the prognosis was clear. Forom tried. He left the competitive scene to focus on his health, trading the intensity of professional darts for a quieter battle at home. But recovery was never simple. His weight fluctuated dramatically as he tried to rebuild his strength, and complications seemed to follow him at every turn. In 2015, a severe stroke left him weakened and sidelined once more, a reminder that no matter how much he loved the sport, his body was no longer willing to cooperate. Despite the setbacks, Forom refused to let go of darts entirely. He returned to smaller tournaments, smiling as he stepped onto the Osh, even if his performance couldn't match his former glory. Every match was a testament to his perseverance. His final chapter came in 2021, when complications from organ failure claimed his life at the age of 59. Tributes poured in from across the darts world, with fans and players remembering a man whose love for the sport and connection to the crowd had never wavered, even in his darkest moments. Andy Forom's story is bittersweet, a tale of triumph, resilience, and the heavy price of a life lived too hard and too fast. In the world of darts, where tradition often reigns supreme, Noa-Lynn van Leuven did something extraordinary. She didn't just compete, she broke barriers. As the first transgender darts player to step onto the PDC World Championship stage, Noa-Lynn carried more than her darts to the Osh. She carried the weight of representation, the hope of countless others, and the scrutiny of those who couldn't look past their own biases. Her presence was a bold statement. Darts was for everyone. But behind her groundbreaking achievements was a personal struggle that few saw. Competing in a sport steeped in its ways, Noa-Lynn faced criticism, resistance, and at times outright hostility. While she remained determined, these battles began to take a toll. The stress of being in the spotlight wasn't just emotional, it was triggering. Old wounds that had long been buried began to surface, pushing Noa-Lynn into a state of reflection. She realized that, while she had given so much to the sport, she needed to take care of herself first. In a heartfelt announcement, she stepped away from darts, citing the need to focus on her mental health. Her decision shocked the community, but also highlighted an issue that's too often ignored in competitive sports: the intense mental strain that comes with constant judgment and high stakes.
There's a lot of media hype and attention around you, and there's more pressure, like we've discussed. Do you feel more pressure when you play on TV and on stage because of, well, let's be honest, what ignorant people are saying about you?
I think I feel pressure at any time. If I play a floor tournament or a TV tournament, the eyes will be on me because it's a hot topic, let's be honest. If we look at trans people in sports in general, they're the victim.
For Noa-Lynn, the break wasn't a sign of defeat. It was a moment of courage, a decision to prioritize her well-being over the relentless grind of professional competition. Though her time on the professional stage was cut short, Noa-Lynn's impact extends far beyond the results. She opened doors that many didn't even realize were closed and sparked conversations that the darts world desperately needed to have. Her story is one of triumph over adversity, a reminder that success isn't always about trophies, but about the courage to be yourself. Leighton Bennett was the kind of player darts fans couldn't wait to see more of. At just 13 years old, he burst onto the scene, showcasing a level of skill and composure well beyond his years. The young Englishman quickly earned a reputation as a prodigy, winning the BDO World Youth Championship in 2019 and setting his sights on an even brighter future. Fans hailed him as the next big thing in darts, a rising star with the talent to dominate the sport for years to come. But as quickly as his star rose, it fell. In 2024, Bennett was handed an 8-year ban by the Darts Regulation Authority, DRA, for match fixing. Accused of manipulating 4 matches and failing to cooperate with the investigation, Bennett's once promising career came to an abrupt halt. For fans, the news was devastating. How could someone with so much potential throw it all away? The investigation revealed that Bennett had been providing inside information and deliberately influencing outcomes. Whether it was a desperate decision, youthful naivety, or external pressures that led to his actions, the consequences were clear. His sponsors dropped him, and the darts community turned its back on a player who had once been seen as its future. What made Bennett's fall so shocking wasn't just the scandal, it was the speed at which it happened. Just a few years earlier, he had been celebrated as a symbol of darts' next generation. Now, his name is a cautionary tale. Leighton Bennett's story is one of wasted potential, but it's also a lesson for young athletes everywhere. Talent can get you to the top, but integrity keeps you there. For Bennett, the chance to rebuild his reputation may come in time, but for now, the shadow of his actions looms over what was once a career full of promise. Kirk Shepherd's journey in darts began with a bang. In 2008, as a 21-year-old ranked 142nd in the world, he stunned the darts community by making it to the PDC World Championship final. Shepherd was the ultimate underdog, defeating several seasoned players on his way to a match against John Part for the title. Though he ultimately lost, his improbable run captured the hearts of fans and cemented his place as one of the sport's most exciting young prospects. But the fairy tale didn't last. Expectations soared after his breakout performance, and the pressure to live up to the hype weighed heavily on Shepherd. He struggled to replicate his success, and as each tournament passed, the momentum from his World Championship run began to fade. By the early 2010s, Shepherd was no longer a fixture in the top-tier tournaments. His game had been overtaken by inconsistency and self-doubt. Then came dartitis. For Shepherd, dartitis wasn't just a physical hurdle, it was a crushing mental battle. The player who had once shocked the world with his precision and poise was now struggling to perform even the most basic throws. It was a devastating turn of events for someone who had once stood on the brink of greatness. Faced with dwindling results and mounting frustration, Shepherd made the difficult decision to step away from professional darts. He transitioned into a new career as an electrician, leaving behind the sport that had both made and broken him. For many fans, the news was bittersweet. A promising career cut short by forces beyond his control. Jockey Wilson was a legend in darts, an unstoppable force with a flair for the dramatic and an unshakable will to win. A two-time world champion in 1982 and 1989, Wilson's fiery personality and relentless style made him one of the sport's most beloved figures. He was a working-class hero, a man who represented grit and determination, someone fans could rally behind as he took on the giants of the game. But while the trophies piled up and the crowds cheered, Wilson's personal life was a different story. Behind the scenes, he was grappling with health issues, financial instability, and a battle with alcoholism. Wilson's hard-drinking lifestyle became as famous as his darting prowess, a pattern that seemed part of the darts culture of the time. But what started as a way to blow off steam eventually began to take its toll. His game suffered, his earnings dwindled, and his once bright star began to dim. By the early 1990s, Wilson's struggles had reached a breaking point. He stepped away from professional darts, leaving the spotlight and the competitive circuit behind. What followed was a heartbreaking decline. Wilson moved into relative obscurity, living in a council flat in Kirkcaldy, Scotland. Financial struggles plagued him, and the man who had once been the toast of the darts world now lived in isolation, far removed from the sport that had brought him fame. In his later years, Wilson's health deteriorated. He suffered from chronic pulmonary obstructive disease, COPD, a condition made worse by years of heavy smoking and drinking. On March 24, 2012, Wilson passed away at the age of 62. The darts community mourned the loss of a player who had given so much to the sport and whose story was a sobering reminder of the pressures and pitfalls that can accompany success. Jockey Wilson's journey is one of incredible highs and devastating lows. He was a champion who inspired millions, but his story also serves as a cautionary tale about the cost of a life lived in the fast lane. For fans, Wilson will always be remembered, not just for his triumphs on the Oche, but for the raw humanity he brought to the sport. His name remains etched in the history of darts, a symbol of both brilliance and vulnerability. That's it for today's video, but this is just the beginning. If you've enjoyed diving into the stories behind the darts world, the triumphs, the struggles, and everything in between, then you're in the right place. We've got plenty more coming your way, with even deeper dives into the players, the drama, and the history that make darts so fascinating. So, if you're ready to join us on this journey, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our upcoming content. Stick around. We're just getting started, and you won't want to miss what's next in the world of darts. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.